the work?
Well, I think a lot of it, again, the results are what they are. And Mike said this is kind of a, if you don't mind, I'll give some context to it. Because again, a smart friend of mine too, we were talking about nuance and context, and sometimes, two things could be true at once. One, when you haven't gotten the results you want, you should be criticized and be objective. And I talked about being objective, so what does that mean? So you got to go look at things that didn't work. Why you did something, what your intent is. Okay, well, why is the result? So you got to look at your mistakes and your failures and say, all right, this is what our intent, what you're thinking about, or how do I objectively fix that? And that's what you got to be really honest. That's the only way you improve. So whether you're coaching or you're a player or you're in any other industry, that's real. And that's what we strive to do every week. Obviously, we've never thought of perfect, so you look at the red zone. We've had 28 trips. We've scored touchdowns on 14 of them, so that's half, 50%. Not where you want to be. You obviously want to score every time, but historically, if you're in the mid to high 60s, you're usually up there and leading the league. Some of the years we were really good in Tennessee, we were damn near at 75%, but that's kind of, you want to strive to be 100. That's what you're aiming for. So you're at 50 there, so 28 trips. And other than, we've had to kick field goals 9 times. 2 of them were situational, win the game, right? Green Bay, Houston. So those are 2. So the other 7, we had 3 fumbles, right down in Tampa. So a lot, turnover on downs that we had down in Jacksonville to try to cut it, 6.5 to the 4th down on the sprint out to Drake. So you look at all this. So we have 99 plays, give or take, and that's including things that have been nullified by penalties, whether it's offense, pre-snap, or even defensive penalties. So you'll say, what's your intent? What are you targeting? Right, so we have a lot of guys that we think are good players on this team. So it's not just Bijan, but it's all those guys. So a lot of times in the drop back, maybe the number 1 read was Kyle, maybe it was Drake. Well, they have a say, they took it away, and you've got a pressure attacker on the other side, so the ball went there. Or unfortunately you got sacked or something negative happened. So having said all that, that's not an excuse, so it's just a reality. And the intent is, he among other people, when we've been in sync, it's been pretty good. And there's been some zone reads. That's been a really good play for us, right? So the play, if he hands it, going to him. Well, we pulled it, and that's been a pretty positive play for us down there. Tyler, in the situation, Algier, he's been pretty damn good on goal line runs, short yardage. Again, nothing's perfect. And then where you're using other guys. Some of those times you build in run alerts. Maybe you're going to CP, maybe you're going to Bijan, Janu, or whoever. And so you look at it, and you look at 99 plays. Not all of them count because of penalties, or some of them in 2-point. It's been pretty balanced. He's been at the tip of the spear at most of them. Now, the ball hasn't gone to him every time. It's not going to go to every player every time because we've got a lot of good players. So it's my job to make sure that we're better than 50%. And that's what, ultimately, we got to score more points than the opponent, and we want to strive to score every time we're down there. That's how it shakes down. I can get a lot more verbose, but don't want to lose everything or sound like I'm making excuses. That's the reality of it. So again, our intent, try to be very balanced. We've used everybody. He has scored. He's led to a lot of points, some of it, whether he's gotten the ball or not. And then other times, like with all our players, we got to find other ways to make sure we're more lethal down in the red zone. And that's the way we look at it. And so we're striving, look at it, you look at your intent. Okay, if it hadn't been good enough, how do we fix it? And that is the number 1 job that I have to do. And you have to be accountable for it. And there's nobody that runs from that. That's the blunt reality. And so that's every week. And so if you have an issue in protection, or you're not tackling well enough, or you're losing contain, that's in every phase. But I know this: we have the right guys in the locker room. We have the right staff. So this on Monday, we're not excited about where we're at, but we're not dead and we're not out of it, and we get the chance to go do something about it. And that's what you want. You don't want adversity, but you're going to tell you a lot about yourself. When we've been in it, players and coaches, you're going to find out more about yourself than anything else, and that's what we embrace.